Hi, this is Ken Wolf, Artistic Director of Manhattan Rep, the host of the Playwriting podcast, and the director and the producer of Powerhouse Off-Broadway. And I'm also the creator of the Creativity Course. Welcome to How to Be More Creative in Your Writing. So in this video I'm presenting you today, we're going to talk about ways that you can be more creative when you're writing, whether you're writing a play, whether you're writing a novel. I'm going to share with you simple techniques so that you can be so much more creative and writing will be fun. So let's do it. The first principle and secret that I'm going to share with you is to ask better questions. So what do I mean by this? Let's say you're working on a novel, right? And it's not going that well. It really is not going well. Your outline is kind of funky. It's really not working. So as opposed to saying like, oh my God, why am I so stupid that I can't figure this out, right? That's not the thing you want to say, because when you ask yourself a question, your mind is going to automatically answer it. Your creative part of you is going to go, well, why are you so stupid? Because, you were born stupid. It'll find some ridiculous answer. So when you are in the process of writing and it's not going well, ask yourself the question, how can I find a creative solution here and have more fun? How can I have more fun today when I write this so that, I do, 20 pages today on this novel? So you ask yourself that question, how can I have more fun writing this? So maybe, you go outside somewhere, and maybe get a great cup of coffee outside on the beach or something. Or maybe you go, to the top of the Empire State Building, right? And you take out your little microphone, you start talking, getting your ideas, X, Y, and Z. I don't know. But how can you be more creative and have more fun? Is a great question to ask yourself when it's not fun. You can change your environment. You can change the way that you write, so you're not on your little computer or your big computer. You could write on your phone. You could write with a yellow pad, and it's fantastic. So if you're feeling stuck or if you're not excited about your writing, ask the magic question, how can I have more fun and write 20 pages today? How can I have more fun and finish this outline for my play, my emotional event map? How can I have more fun and complete this novel by the end of the week? And how can I have fun doing it? It is a great question. You should ask it all the time, because your unconscious mind will give you a great answer. So don't say like, oh my God, why did I ever decide to be a novelist? What's wrong with me that I want to write a novel? Wow, that's not going to help you. Why the heck did I ever choose to be a playwright? Oh my God, why did I ever want to do that? What was wrong with me that I actually thought I could do that, right? So your unconscious mind will tell you all the bad things and you'll believe it, and you'll just spiral down into insanity. So ask a better question when you're stuck or confused about your writing. How can I have more fun and make this rock? How can I have more fun and complete these pages? How can I dive in deeper and have more fun developing this whole thing? How can I go further with my work so that it will rock today? So ask better questions and your creativity will soar. The next tip to be more creative in your writing is to be more specific. You can always be more specific about anything that you're writing. I love personal tales because personal tales are always specific. But the more specific you are, the more universal your work is going to be, whether as a playwright or as a novelist, whatever you're doing. The more specific you are, the more universal your work is going to be, the more it's going to connect to people. So you can go to yourself personally, or you can research. Get online and research things. If you're doing something about a famous person or something from the past, get online and research or find movies about that person. But get very, very specific. Learn everything you can about that person and that time and that universe that you're creating. And again, because the more specific, the better it's going to be. It really is. One of the great things to do if you're working on a novel or a play is to interview people who are like your characters in your novel or your play. Interview them. I know it sounds crazy, but interviewing is so specific and so much fun, and you'll learn so much about that person, but also about how you can use elements of that person in your writing or in your play. And I know it seems kind of nutty, but give it a whirl. And I was working on a project once and I interviewed my mother. Yes, on video. And it was fantastic. I got so specific on her. And I grew up with her, but I asked her things I didn't know about her. And boom, I put that into the play and it was fantastic. It really was. It was fantastic. And I still have that video and it's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful video. It's just fantastic. So get more specific on what you're writing about. And the reason you do that is because, the more specific you are, goes into your mind, your unconscious mind, movies, TV, things online. It goes into your unconscious mind. And then when you start to write, your unconscious mind just kind of pulls it together and makes it happen in amazing ways you never would have imagined. So, give it a whirl. Put that stuff in your head. Put it in there. And then when you go to write, just write. Don't edit, just write. Just let it channel out and write. You have all the information, all the specific information. Just write. And then when you're done writing, stop, take a break, and then come back and edit and use your left brain. And that's a great strategy. But don't write and edit at the same time because you don't let your unconscious mind put all the pieces of the puzzle together, especially if you have researched. So give that a whirl. It's a fantastic thing. Just dive in, learn everything you can about your characters. And if you're making up the characters, then write out bios and put all your characters in your head and have them have a tea party in your head and kind of learn and get that in your unconscious so that when you write, it will rock. I love that tea party thing. I do it all the time. I have some people who actually help me in life. And one of those people is Anton Chekhov. Right? So often when I'm working at a play, I'll take the characters and then I'll put Anton Chekhov in there to watch, right? And he'll give me feedback. I know it's insane, but it's great. The more you can put these people in your unconscious mind, the better you're going to write. So have fun with that. Just have fun. And let's say your character is very rich and they hang out in the country club. Well, find somebody you know who has a country club and go and hang out at the country club. You'll learn so much great, cool, wonderful things by going there, having an experience of that world. So give it a whirl. Research, and then let it fly out of you. And the third technique on how to be more creative with your writing is to know where you are going. Begin with the end in mind. A lot of people sit down and they just write. And I get it, that's okay. But when I'm looking at plays, I can tell when they're written that way because they just don't have the proper structure for a play and the proper dramatic action. So it's really important that you begin with the end in mind and know where you're going, whether it's a play or whether it's a novel. Because if you know where you're going, then you can link up the dramatic action to get there. And whether it be a play or a novel, escalation is the key to a play and to a novel. And to any sort of creative writing where the problem will get worse or the character gets worse or things happen that get worse and things escalate, etc. So if you begin with the end in mind, you know where you're going. And when you know where you're going and you've built a clear outline, like in a play with clear action and events, and in a novel, again, a clear dramatic action from chapter to chapter, scene to scene, where the character goes through an experience, or the characters go through an experience. Now, a novel is much more long form, but you still have to have a beginning and know where you're going to the end, and it needs to escalate to get there. So it's really important to write out an outline with the emotional events, whether it's a play or a novel, that bring you to the end of the novel, the final event, or the realization, the play, the climax, and the resolution. But it's really important to begin with the end in mind. So many writers just sit down and write. One of my favorite writers, Stephen King, And I don't know if this is true, but I think so. I think he just sits down and writes, because often his endings aren't very good. And he's so great. I love him. He's one of my favorite authors. And probably half the time, I don't like his endings. They just seem kind of retrofitted. And you don't want, especially the ending of a novel or a play, to be retrofitted. So begin with the end in mind and build a clear outline of action, dramatic action, whether it's a play or whether it's a novel, to get to where you want to go. And your writing will be amazing. So I hope this helps. These are 3 really important techniques that you can use so that you can be more creative in your writing. I want you to try them out to see if they will work for you. And I know they will, but try them out with an open mind, with a beginner's mind, and see what works. You know, the interesting thing in life is we get caught in patterns where we do the same thing over and over again. Let's say you read a novel, and my novels are pretty good, and so I do the same thing over and over again because they're pretty good. But how can your novel be great? What can you change? What simple thing can you change so that your novel or your play is great? And that's what you want. Because, you know, novels that are okay, some people will read them, yeah, but novels that are great, everyone will read them. Plays that are great, everyone will go to see. So I invite you to try this new stuff. Try new things, constantly try new things to get better and better and better at what you do, so that your writing rocks. So give it a whirl. Come on, be even more creative. We get stuck in these little roadblocks of how we think things are supposed to be. And sometimes if you just make a right-hand turn and do something different, let me say that again, do something different, the results are amazing. This is Ken Wolf. Thank you for watching this program. This has been How to Be More Creative in Your Writing. And if you have any questions about anything, write me at howtowriteplays@yahoo.com. Keep on writing, never stop. Create the most awesome writing, the most awesome work you have ever done in your life. And I'm looking forward to reading it or seeing it if it's a play.